Good game for Kansas here, especially given the fact that Jalen Wilson has not been nearly the superstar offensively that he has been all season. Rob, if you would have told us prior to this game, Jalen Wilson's going to have 2 points with a minute left in this game, you think Texas wins that going away, right?
Yeah, I think they win by 50. That's what my guess would have been. But it goes to show you the importance of what Kansas can be when they actually get guys around him, when he gets some support, when you have things like Grady Dick making a couple 3-pointers and making some shots off the bounce, when you have things like DeJuan Harris being a threat offensively, being a threat off the dribble, being somebody that can get out and transition and make a play, when you got someone like Joseph Yesufu coming off the bench, and it's not even like a ton of this stuff was done just in the half court. Like, they were getting out in transition, they played really well defensively. It was a really impressive all-around team performance from Kansas, and it's something that we really have not seen from this group over the course of the last 3 weeks. Like, it's kind of been the Jalen Wilson show, and you hope you get enough from the other guys to be able to squeak out a win when he drops 38, right? Yeah, 2 tonight. They put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in double figures. That's impressive.
Yeah, and your first team All-American scores 2. That's the crazy part. DeJuan Harris is really good. He didn't make the top 10 Cousy Award finalists. I think he's one of the most underrated players in college basketball. He just does winning stuff constantly. That's all he does is winning things. He guards like all hell. He uses pick and rolls. He doesn't force the issue. And guys, he looks like he weighs about $165. It's amazing to me that he guards as well as he does at his size. And he just continues to do winning things. When he's not good, Kansas struggles. When he's really good, everybody's orchestrating around him. And when he's hitting shots, I mean, even with Jalen Wilson playing bad, you can forget it because it just opens the floor up that much more. And he's a stat sheet stuffer. 17, 6, and 5 tonight in 34 minutes. He's that guy for Kansas that's inexpendable. You have to have him on the floor at the end of games, and you have to have him playing well. When that's the case, Kansas is good, guys. And if Texas doesn't turn the ball over in the first half, I think Texas actually wins this game. That first half was brutal, and they kept giving Kansas points off turnovers, getting out and running. When Texas set their defense, I thought they were solid. For the most part, I thought they were solid.
Yeah. So, Marcus Carr finished with 29, and I swear in the first half I was like, this dude, what is he doing? We talked about him. I think it was with you, Greg. Did we talk about Marcus Carr's having legit a top 10, top 5 point guard kind of a season this year? He had 29 tonight. He was horrible in the first half. And part of the reason they got down as big as they did is because there was one time he stepped over the inbounds line when he was trying to inbound a basketball. There was another one when someone inbounded the ball to him and the defender was right there and it kind of took him by surprise and he traveled. It was just kind of dumb, avoidable mistakes that he was making. There was another one he walked in the half court. It just he made some plays in the second half, but when you're trying to come back from 12 down against Kansas, this is what Texas does, right? They dug themselves. They were down 18 at home to TCU. They won that game. They were down by 12 at home to Texas Tech. They won that game. They were down by 14 at Kansas State on Saturday, and they came back and won that game. But you can't dig yourself a hole at Kansas and expect to come back. It's just, you're playing with fire there.
Yeah, he's like the inverse of Harris in a weird way. Marcus Carr is, right? He could go get you 30 on a lot of nights, and sometimes he's playing great and gets you 30, but sometimes it's a 30 and he didn't play that great. Whereas Harris, he could have nights where he scores 2 points and he plays great basketball, but they do different things. I will make a point on Harris, though, because I criticized him a lot preseason. Just I think this team is going to need more from him offensively to reach the heights that last year's version did, given the departures. In their losses, the 4 losses they've had in the last couple of weeks, he had 7 points total in those 4 games. And then tonight, he leads the team in shots. Clearly, he's capable against big-time opponents like Texas is. That was the first-place team in the Big 12 tonight. So if they can get that more consistently from him, I'm all the way in on this Kansas team. If they don't, I still think it's a pretty big burden.
I think it's a confidence thing with him. We see it a little bit with Andre Jackson, right? There's something that kind of messes with your head if you're a player and people don't guard you, right? If the other team kind of says look, we're better off not playing defense on you and letting you do whatever you want to do than we are playing defense on you, right? And that's
when you're playing guys. It ruins guys.
Yes. We saw it with DeJuan Harris. We've seen it with Andre Jackson. We've seen it with Aaron Thompson at Butler a couple of years. Ben Simmons. It's in that dude's not dunking the ball anymore, passing up wide open dunks.
Yeah,
you know,
totally different. Also, I just want to reset real quickly. Welcome to any listeners that we have on Sirius XM channel 84. You are listening to the Field of 68 After Dark, brought to you by Bet Rivers. We got Rob Doster, Terrence Oglesby. My name is Greg Waddell here. We are talking Kansas, Texas as the Jayhawks secure the victory. This is a big one as far as not even momentum, but just numbers in the Big 12 race. If Texas was to go on the road and get this victory and hold a 1-game lead over Iowa State, but a 2-game lead over everybody else that matters, and a 3-game lead in the loss column over Kansas, all of a sudden you can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel there if you're the Longhorns to winning this conference. Now, that group of 6 teams at the top that I've just called a chaotic mess, I mean, everybody's within a game from each other still at this point. Texas and Iowa State with 3 losses in the conference. Kansas, TCU, Kansas State, Baylor, all with 4 losses. Let's flip to the Texas side of this for a second, guys, because I have been blown away recently watching Texas compared to the first month of the season by one major change. Where has Tyrese Hunter gone? I mean, I genuinely thought he was their best player the first 3 weeks of the season. I thought he was going to be a potential first-team All-American after a few of those games. He has been so much less involved than I envisioned he would be when he transferred over to Texas this season. Rob, what do you make of that?
It's been Serge Rice stepping up and being a difference maker. You know, Marcus Carr, we talked about how great Marcus Carr has been. Serge Rice is a 5th-year senior that won at New Mexico State, that won when he was in high school, that can play. Is a little bit of a better shooter, can play a little bit.
Best shot fake in college basketball.
Hey, listen, he got that from Sam Young. Okay, Sam Young walked so Serge Rice could thrive.
Sam Young played.
Put some respect on Sam Young's name.
You don't even know if he was alive. You don't even know if he was alive. You're showing your age, sir. Sam Young was drafted when 2006.
Hit legend. Sam Young. No, but it's because of Serge Rice's kind of emergence as the secondary guy in the backcourt. I think it has less to do with what Tyrese Hunter has been and more to do with the fact that he's just kind of gotten outplayed, you know. And I do think that Hunter has been fine in spurts, and I do think there is something to say about bringing a guy off the bench that can kind of be your energy guy, that can kind of be your microwave score, and I think that's the role that Rice has kind of embraced. Also, his name is Serge Ibaka. Like, you just know he's going to go out there and get a bucket, right?
All name team for sure. It has been the emergence of Serge Rice. That's the big thing. They're looking for him to create something, and that shot fake creates a lot of things. It's amazing. It looks like that thing belongs at church league with me on Sundays, and I'm going to use it next time I play. I'm going to miss the next couple of games. I'm out. Got to have to work a little bit, but our team's going to stay strong. Clemson Presbyterian, what's up? So, and then on top of that, he's more naturally a point guard anyway. And Marcus Carr has the ball in his hands. And if you look at the game tonight, in my humble opinion, and we all know it's not worth much, especially to some pundits. In my humble opinion, in the first half, Marcus Carr was thinking too much. He was trying to be a point guard's point guard. In the second half, he got back to who he was. Right? He wasn't trying to create for anybody else. He was focused on being a bucket. That was the biggest difference between good Marcus Carr and wildly mediocre Marcus Carr. Second half, he was 8 of 16. He got rocks up in the last 20 minutes. That's where he's most comfortable being that guy. And to be honest with you, if Marcus Carr is that guy in the first half, like they were when we went down to watch them play in Gonzaga, Rob, like, then what happens is it closes up on him by the time halftime comes around, and then Tyrese Hunter can get going because he's somebody who's going to let the ball come to him. Serge Rice, that ball moves. That ball needs to come to him a little bit. He can create, sure, but I feel like Tyrese Hunter's a flow of the offense guy right now. I think he's fully capable of doing things on his own, but for this team, he's a flow of the offense guy. Maybe you need that Marcus Carr in the first half as opposed to the second, and then you don't turn the ball over.
The one thing
that's your defense on the other end.
The one thing I will say to that is, I do think there's something to be said with some of the defensive issues that Texas has had in recent weeks. Like, if you look at what the schedule they had, their last 4 games, it was at Tennessee, home for Baylor, at Kansas State, at Kansas. If you go 2-2 in that stretch, you came out with a win. I don't know how much more you could ask than going 2-2 in that 2-2 in that stretch. But you gave up 88 points to Kansas tonight. You gave up 82 points to a Tennessee team that is, I think it's fair to say, abysmal on the offensive end of the floor. You need to start tightening it up on that end. And I think that getting more minutes from Tyrese Hunter is something that might be able to help there a little bit, because he's really who else on that team do you look at and say, okay, that's someone that can lock up. That's someone that I'm going to trust that can guard. Dillon Mitchell, yes, but Dillon Mitchell is more of like he's less we're going to put him on somebody to shut him down, and more of like he's going to be a good team, rotational, weak side, playmaking kind of defender, right? Who are you guys? Who are the guys on there that you trust to just go get a stop for you? That you could put on someone and say, I need you to win this battle defensively, and then go win it for you. They don't have a ton of them.
No, but I think team defense wise, they've been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are they on KenPom? They can't be too low. I mean,
they're going to drop out of like the top 30,
27.
27 defense. I mean, do they have
before giving up 88 to Kansas? But yes, to your point, they've been fine. But if we're talking about like I'm not worried about them offensively. I'm worried about, are they going to be able to get enough? Like, I just see that 82 points that they gave it to Tennessee, and that's just like a huge red flag. You know, I've watched too much.
But also, you look at who scored for Kansas today. Like, have they done that consistently? So, like Joseph Yesufu, has he been that dude all year? DeJuan Harris, has he been that kind of dude all year? Not a scoring way, but he's
they've been bad, and then all I had to do was face this Texas defense, and all of a sudden they found a way to get going. You could say,
but I'm just saying, if you follow your scout and
if
guys
you want to go
nuts,
spin zone on this, TO, if you want to go spin zone on this, if you want to think outside the box here, a little galaxy brain, Texas just fixed Kansas.
That's such a spin zone. That hurts.